Capital. In this video, we are going to analyze another poem from Indian English writing, A.K. Ramanujan's Obituary. This poem was published in the collection Relationships in the year 1971. Let us look at the poem. So, obituary is a statement that is published in the newspaper at the death of someone in order to commemorate their achievement or the people they have left, the loved ones. So, that is obituary. So, father, when he passed on, left dust on a table of papers. It's a very strange kind of beginning. The narrator is referring to his father, who is now deceased, and is saying that he left only a table with dust on it. There are papers on the table and there is dust. So we, from the very beginning, get to know that the tone he is assuming here is not of grief. He's not paying any formal tribute to his father. It's not an elegy, but that he is remembering his father with all its flaws and some kind of there is dry humor in his tone. So father, when he passed away, he left dust on a table of papers, left debts and daughters. So debts and daughters are there in the same line. In a patriarchal setup, you have daughters equated with debts because they are unmarried and they have to be married. There needs to be paid a dowry. So all the responsibility falls on the men of the family, the succeeding generation. Here, in this case, the narrator, the poet, he says that father, when he passed away, he left responsibilities. He left debts for me. He left daughters as debt. So both are in the same line. We also get to see the tone A.K. Ramanujan is using is very conversational tone, kind of reminds us of Nissim Ezekiel's tone in Night of the Scorpion, right? So it's a personal reflection, more of a statement than a formal tribute. He does not speak very heavily about the grief and the loss and the separation. Okay, but only making us count all the responsibilities that he's left with. A bedwetting son, so the father also left a bedwetting grandson named by the toss of a coin after him. Another very dry humor kind of statement. The grandson was named after the grandfather, which was decided by the toss of coin on whose name will he be named after, the grandson, and it was decided by toss of a coin, very uh, decided by chance, not by plans and all. So a house that leaned slowly through our growing years on a bent coconut. So the father left for his son a very dilapidated house, a house that was not in a very good condition, bent on a coconut tree, means very the house is in shambles, and get to see son. Uh, is trying to remember his father in a more human way. Like the father has become more human in death than he was divine. He may have been divine in life, but he has become more human in his death. A house that leaned slowly through our growing years on a bent coconut tree in a yard. Being the burning type, he burned properly at the cremation. So, a realist take on what father was like in his life, uh, when he remembers the father was of a burning type. The father was always burning with afflictions of life, or who was a very short tempered kind of a person, or not someone who would people would be very happy to see. So he was the burning type, always in anger or always in frustration, because of that he burned properly. It's kind of a very light take, a light humor that we notice here. Being the burning type, he burned properly at the cremation because he was always subjected to fueling temperament. That is why he was burned properly at the cremation as before, easily and at both ends. So he burned properly at both ends. The body, it kind of replicated how father had been in his all his life. Left his eye coins in the ashes that didn't look one bit different. So it is the ritual after the death. It is the custom that the dead body is laid on the pyre, and on the eyes there are laid coins. So the coins were not burned when the body was burned, because they were put there. Additionally, the ashes that did not look one bit different, several spinal discs rough, some burned to coal. So what was left after the uh, body was burned? There were left two coins that were put on the eyes to fulfill the ritual of death, the funeral, and with that there were several leftovers of the bone of the spine. They were not burned properly, they were very rough, but yes, they were burned like coal, but they were left for sons to pick gingerly. So the sons were the, here we get to see the poet is not the only son of his father, but there are other brothers as well. So they were asked by the priest to pick gingerly, to be very delicate in picking the leftovers in the ashes of the father after his body is burned, and throw, as the priest said, facing east where the three rivers meet near the railway station. The priest asked these sons to throw the leftover, the pieces of bones of the spinal area. They are meant to be thrown in the river where three rivers meets. A very traditional way of uh, hoping that the body or the person whose body is just being burned will get some kind of moksha or mukti if the body is subject to proper burial. Not the burial, but the cremation. Okay, where three rivers meet near the railway station. Again, with the insertion of this phrase near the railway station, we get to see the tradition and spirituality go hand in hand with reality. So railway station is a very real kind of place, modern kind of place, and the juxtaposition of throwing away the bits of bones of the father's body where there is a railway station makes the scene kind of very realistic on how he envisages the uh, present condition. No long-standing headstone with his full name and two dates to hold in their parenthesis. There is enjambment at places. You get to see a change of paragraph while the sentence continues. So the family does not intend to have a long-standing headstone. No epitaph needs to be written for the father because the body was cremated already. Uh, with his full name and two dates. One is the death of the date of birth, and another is date of uh, death. To hold in the parenthesis, so it is written in the parenthesis, the day of the birth, the day of the death. Everything he didn't quite manage to do himself. So the father is remembered as someone who was not able to do things himself. He was not able to manage things himself, but he was assisted all the time. He was a very passive kind of person, did not do things himself. It's a very critical lens this son is using to look at his father. Like a caesarean birth, even at the birth as well, the father could not be born from his own. He needed some assistance from the doctors at the time of his birth. In a Brahmin ghetto, we get to see the caste. He was born in higher caste in a Brahmin ghetto, poor area, but yeah, still a Brahmin, higher caste, so-called higher caste. And his death by heart failure in the fruit market. Again, this places with no values or no spiritual values are juxtaposed with very intense depiction of life events, like very important events of life are always happening at very simple places. Okay, things are not exaggerated in any way. So his death happened because of heart failure in the fruit market. He was born in the Brahmin ghetto. Nothing extraordinary about his life or his manner of death. But someone told me he got two lines in an inside column of a Madras newspaper. Now the son gets to hear that his father left an obituary for himself. So someone or his father, he left two lines of obituary in some Madras newspaper. The poet does not have a first-hand experience. He has not read the lines himself, but he has come to know that there exist two lines written for his father, as obituary in newspaper, sold by the kilo exactly 4 weeks later to street hawkers. These kind of newspapers, newspaper does not have a life more than a day. So after the day has passed, the newspaper is like it recedes into being nothing at all, into waste paper. So some Madras newspaper published his obituary, and this newspaper will be sold by the kilos exactly 4 weeks later. Like after a month, it will be sold for no value at all. It will have no worth in 4 weeks to street hawkers. This paper will passed to people dealing in scraps and things as such, who sell it in turn to the small groceries. So the paper which carries the obituary will be sold in the market to street hawkers as second use, and they will be put to another kind of a lower kind of use when in the groceries the same newspaper will be used to make that cones in which things are given to the small groceries where I buy salt, where one of those groceries, the poet may go to buy salt, coriander, and jaggery. These are the spices, coriander and jaggery. Jaggery is good. In newspaper cones that I usually read for fun. So the poet or the narrator has the habit of reading the newspaper that comes with the household items that you buy from groceries, and he had been reading it for fun. But now that he knows that one of those newspaper may carry two lines of obituary for his father, some kind of inheritance that he still has of his father that he has not seen with his eyes, but he is very keen on getting it. That I usually read for fun, and lately in the hope of finding these obituary lines. So, being a son, he wants to see everything that his father has left for him, and he left us a changed mother and more than one annual ritual. And what else did he leave them with? He left them with a changed mother. The mother is irreparably, inconsolably in grief. And so he has more than one annual ritual. The annual ritual is the annual day in which you commemorate the lost ones, the death anniversary. So he has left us more than all these things. He has left us with responsibilities. He has left us with the memories of things that he did not do well, of his insignificant life. His manner of death was insignificant, but still, you tend to remember the loved ones with more than uh, complain. So he's looking for those two lines of obituary. Okay. So that will be all for obituary by A.K.